Kasha Gage. Welcome back. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it. Today I'm going to be working on stories 16 and 17 in my 2022 December daily album. Before I dive into these, I'm going to give you guys, flip back here to story 4. I shared previously that I was going to swap out the paper once the specialty vellum came. Now this, if you happen to get the add-on or the specialty paper pack that was offered, part of Allie Edwards, the December daily collection, this print was included. But as I had explained beforehand, I had missed out, and I also wanted a couple other patterns done. So I ordered these through an Etsy shop, and I will link that for you guys again below, and just did a custom order for those. So switched out the paper, and I added a little heart that was part of this year's advent calendar. So spoiler alert, I don't remember. I opened all the envelopes. So added that there, and I left everything else the same. Now I'll show you guys, moving on to story 15. I did a full scrap lift, or copied Allie when she had shared this in this year's product play. Part of that was because this is something, if you guys have seen some of my past albums, I do sometimes a little bit of crafty stuff, but they definitely tend to be more word and photo heavy. That's just how my memory keeping has evolved. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll try it out, see if I like it. And you'll see I haven't finished any of the embellishments or added a number. That's because I'm unsure if I'm going to keep it. I'm contemplating pulling all of this stuff out and putting it in one of this year's advent envelopes. Let me grab that real quick here. So, I'm contemplating adding this in using one of those adhesive strips with the hole punches already in it, and then tucking all of this in there. I'm not sure yet, so I'm just going to leave it and wait. I just kind of want to see how it feels in my album. But here's what I ended up doing on the inside. So I treated every stocking as if there was one for me, one for Henry, and one for Ben. I created these photo strips. They're double-sided in Photoshop. These are 2x8, and the photos, they're just shy of 2.5 inches tall, and also just shy of 1.75 wide, so like 1.6, I think is what it was. So part of this, I grabbed Ben and Henry, and we took some photos. I passed my camera off to Ben as well, so you can see here, added our initials, and I minked that as well. And then for our journaling, I did loving all these things. So part of how my mind works, sometimes I'm like, okay, there's 3, let's do a total of 15. So you have 5 photos for each of us, right? So a total of 15, and then each have a total of 5 things we're loving. So again, total of 15, sometimes how my mind works. So I created this in Photoshop and ended up running that through my Mink with red foil and just hand wrote. And then the backside, I created a custom pattern in Illustrator. And so each one then says like our name, and then it says is loving. So really love how these turned out. I think it's super fun. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep them in the stockings or I will use something else. So that's okay, right? We don't always have to make those decisions. Sometimes we can leave it and come back to it, that type of thing. So moving on for my story 16, earlier in the week, I think it was, we're watching this in real time. It would have been like last Tuesday. We went out for a light drive. And there was this specific Christmas house here in Orange County. It has its own Yelp page. It was kind of fun. So I took some photos of the house, and then I had also captured one of Henry looking through the window. This one is got a little bit of blur to it. I'm okay with that. It's got some of the great bokeh, and you can even see his face in the mirror. That's why I liked this one. If you guys want to see a tutorial on how I specifically edited these, just let me know, and I can always do something for you guys in a separate video. So here is the underneath. This will go on the left side and this is the bottom. And my plan is to layer these photos all on top using a transparency. If you guys happen to take my class with Big Picture called Photo Driven Storytelling, you'll notice that I am scrap lifting myself. I did something similar and that was for a size of 7 by 8.25. So for these 3 photos, I have a post-it somewhere. Here we go. This is the size of the 4 photos that's going to be on the right-hand side. So 11 by 8.25 for outside the page protector, and then the 3 layers, 10 by 7.5, 9 by 6.5, and 8 by 6. So that's how this one's going to come together. It's just a lot of trimming out, and then I'm going to decide where I want to add a number and if I want to add any embellishments to that. Then story 17, here is one of those vellum sheets that I ordered from that Etsy shop. And I'm just going to back that or put this on a piece of white paper. This is on the back side of this print that was part of either the main kit or the add-on. I won't end up using that. So I'm just going to adhere that down. And then my plan is to frame out. So yesterday, the 17th, I ended up, or that would be Saturday, I captured our entire day via video. Absolutely love that. You guys may have seen on Instagram, I shared my intro, but I'm choosing to keep this specific video private because there are some, for our privacy concerns, and there are some intimate moments and things like that. So I created a QR code. I had first uploaded my video to Dropbox, created a link, and then used Adobe QR code creator to actually generate my QR code, and used one of the word art Scan Me. Again, that was part of this year's prep day. And then I printed this out so it was completely in gold foil. And then I have a version that is white with gold foil. And again, considering I'm not sure which one I'm going to do. I think maybe the gold because I like how that pops. And then also what I'm thinking for stories 18 and 19. So I'm going to dive in here. And then I'll come back and we'll do a wrap up.
All right, so getting started here, the first thing I'm going to be doing is trimming down a piece of transparency. This is graphics transparency, using my paper trimmer and just cutting that down to 11 by 8.25. What I'm pulling over there is a template I made for myself. So that is just on regular copy paper. It's sized, 11 by 8.25, and then I have a border of the largest size photo. A huge part of this is production mode. I need to trim all of those photos out, and so I apologize in advance if this video is a little bit choppy, but again, a lot of this was production, and it would have been like 30 minutes, of having you guys watch everything, even on fast mode. So trimming out those different photos. Again, I gave you guys the sizes at the beginning of this video and then also towards the end again in case you missed it. So I decided just to trim everything so that way it would be done. I trimmed that vellum also to 11 by 8.25, and then that piece of cards or pattern paper from the kit, just trim that down to 11 inches as well. So next up in the process is going to be adhering. And again, this is a little bit of production mode, adhering all those layers of photos on top of one another. Of course, my rolling adhesive wants to give me trouble today, trying to fix that. So pulling over that template that I have there and just going to add a piece of washi tape to try to hold that down in place. I find that works just a little bit better. I could have eyeballed this, but I wanted the photos to be center, especially because of how I had cropped them. So that way it looks kind of seamless when you see it from the top. So adding the first one, the second one, the third one on all on top of one another. Next, I'm grabbing over that plastic word twinkle that was part of the main kit this year. And I felt like it just needed a little oomph, something extra. And I think I probably say this later in the video. So I took the digital file of that and cut that out on white cardstock with my silhouette. And I cut, I think, 3 or 4 of them. I wasn't sure how many layers I wanted to have. Again, knowing that my album has gotten really bulky, I didn't want to add too much, but it needed some depth. So I put two of those words, adhere them down, and then on top I also adhered the twinkle, and you don't see that on camera, but I used the Burley Arts glue. Next, I'm looking for my paper piercer, and I'm just piercing the top of that eye, or like the dot of that eye, and putting a gold star brad in it. And then again, grabbing over some rolling adhesive to do the backside of that word twinkle, and then just going to be adhering down on the photo. I really like the layers to this. You know, it's something you could do in several different colors if you have the digital file. Lots of options, especially with digital. To finish off this front page of my Story 16, I grabbed over some different word phrase stickers, and I ended up going with one. I think it says the magic of the season. I really liked that it had a little bit of white and red, which, especially if I use those stockings or keep those stockings, it brings that red over from one of the vellum prints. Next here, I'm adhering that photo of Henry. I got, of course, a little bit of rolling adhesive up on the top left-hand corner, but things happen, and at least we'll be able to cover that up with an embellishment. Punch my holes using my 6-hole punch. Now I decided to start moving on to Story 17. So again, here's where I cut down that piece of cardstock. Luckily, I ended up remembering I needed to flip it over because I wanted the white side or the back side of that pattern paper. So again, rolling adhesive, just spreading it on the paper, and then adhering my photo down to the pattern side of that cardstock. And then up next, I will be adhering that vellum. I may have mentioned this in one of my other videos. I really like that Burley Arts precision glue. I found that that is working great for adhering things like vellum or transparencies, and that's what I ended up doing for that page there. Grabbing my 6-hole punch again, punching the holes in that page. And up next, it's going to be choosing my numbers and embellishments. I had some 16s I had pulled over from my stash, and then I also have several different puffy number stickers. I'm leaving this part of the process in just so you guys can see the different embellishments, the different decisions I go back and forth with. That Holly Jolly Goodness was part of the add-on pack, die cut pack this year. Then that Still Merry and Bright was part of the main kit. And there's one also that says, I think, more twinkle please, or more twinkle lights. Looking back at this, I kind of like that red because it picks up several of the different tones that is in that, both photos. But I think I ended up going with the green. The white would have worked too, which again would have carried over the white from the right side of the page. For the number 16, I'm keep debating, and you see me, this is what I said, I'm going back and forth. Anything could have worked. I think, yep, that's where I think I decide I'm going to use that one. Those they are foam, so they're thicker. I'm just peeling off the backing because my album is too thick, y'all. Again, deciding a number. Can't decide a number. Anything would work. And now I'm deciding, where am I going to put it? Sometimes we can get hung up on those decisions and just need to stick it on the page. For that word twinkle, I used a digital file, and I believe it was part of Prep Day 2020 or 2021, but it said never enough twinkle lights. And I had just selected just the word twinkle and added that above my journaling. So I really like how this one turns out. You didn't see there, or maybe it's a little bit hard for you guys to see, but I added a tiny gold star on top that was from my stash, just to give it a little something extra. Moving on, this is Story 17. You guys are only going to see a little bit of this just because, again, wanting to protect our privacy with that QR code. Here I decided to go with the gold foil. Looking at this, I wish I would have, and I have the gold foil in champagne, so maybe that would have been the same color. I didn't test it out, but this gold foil is like really gold. So I think I would have liked it if it was more of a muted gold to match the die cut that will be part of Story 19, but I'm leaving it.
All right, everybody, that is a wrap. We'll just recap here. So for my Story 16 I layered 3 photos on top of a transparency. And again, here are the dimensions for that. These 3, 10.75, 9 by 6.75, and 8 by 6. And added the plastic word twinkle, which was available in the main kit this year. And I also cut out this word with my silhouette and white cardstock just to give it a little bit of dimension. And because I also felt, I think I probably already said this, that it was just a little too, it needed a little something, a little oomph. Added a little word phrase sticker and a gold star brad. Then more twinkle lights I just peeled off. Those were foam circles that were included in the main kit. So I just peeled that off. This is getting so full. So I'm not sure how, I have to really think about how I'm going to finish this album so it all fits. Added the number 16, this word twinkle, again, all my journaling here. And then for story 17, I made a QR code and foiled that and just put a number 17. I think I might add like, I don't know, I feel like it needs a little something. So maybe I'll add one of these or something. Oh, there's something that says watch. I kind of like that. What does that look like there? Maybe? That's kind of cute. That's kind of cute. Okay, that works perfect. So I'll just share a little bit of my plans for what I'm thinking. This is going to be this heart that was part of the die cut pack is going to be my story 18, my story 19, and then I'm going to I've moved a few things around from where my starting place was and just try to finish that up. So I will be back, what is it, tomorrow, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday with story 18 and 19, maybe even 20. So we'll see. We'll see how it all gets done and how it comes together. If you guys have any questions, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button or give this a thumbs up so that way you can also stay tuned for more videos like these. Hope you guys have a great day. Take care.